2, 3, 4, 5.
According to 2024 issue by Alex Lee Matthews from TSN, there have been 82 school shootings in 2023 and 46 school fatalities in 2022 alone. This shows how true schools are left defenseless and how there is no easy way of protecting them alone. Now, I would like to, for you guys, remember that, can you recall that your childhood memories of school where you had to hear the red alert or red code, where you guys are either huddled in a corner or hiding under your desks? You guys remember how truly vulnerable you guys felt during those times? Or even at some times, you even felt the clock ticking down just for your classroom? Now, think of how vulnerable schools really are. Now, there are hundreds of students in a single hallway that rely on a single phone call for just for protection itself. This shows how defensive they are, and that a person with the motive, the plans, and the gear can just wipe it out entirely. Now, this is now just left the school dry for help and just waiting for time to pass. Now, before we get any further, I'll provide the background information on school shootings. There have been countless tries at a solution to fix school shootings by using a defense with budget in mind. Now, the strongest argument is by Christine McHugh in 2022, increased risk and cost of army education. She brings up that adding armed teachers into schools will have liabilities in itself by just addition, the cost of introducing and keeping them, and then finally, when using these firearms, she also brings up that discharging the firearm will also bring liabilities among the students, faculty members, and those around her. And I'm also here to convince you the idea of adding armed teachers into our schools. The first is, to begin with, is that it provides a fighting chance by adding armed teachers to our schools. Also explain that greater security equals greater morale with it. And then finally, the cost effectiveness to introduce and keep these armed teachers into our schools. Now, let's start by looking into my first point where I'll show you. Here today, I tried to convince you of the idea of adding armed teachers into our schools. I showed you the idea that adding armed teachers into our school will have a fighting chance if the shooting does arrive. Next, I've also explained that greater security also equals greater morale with the introduction of armed teachers. And then finally, the cost effectiveness of introducing and keeping these armed teachers into our schools. We as humans need to understand one thing about ourselves. When there's good, there's evil. When there's evil, there's good. This shows that those responsible with good morals with them will protect the youth of our future, even at the cost of themselves while doing this. And if you are a teacher who wants to protect students and faculty members along with you, I plead you to go www.uscca.deltadefense.com. This will allow you to gain the knowledge, the training, and the protection for yourself if you ever need to do something during this situation. And if you are a civilian, I do plead you to also go to that website to learn how to train and protect yourself and those around you in everyday life. Now, before I close today, I would like to leave a quote to all of you. Sarah McNursh, trained, armed, and ready to teach kindergarten in 2022 issue. She brings up a kindergarten teacher who feels the impact of school shootings. She brings up the lack of security in the school, lack of locks, and the lack of an on-site officer to protect them during this situation. And she says, we just feel hopeless, and it's just not enough. She picked up the training, the permit, the licensing to protect herself and her students and faculty members along with her, and then to save her own self. Now, I want to ask you guys, will you be the one to pick up the problem and face it, or will you be the one to run away from it? Thank you for listening.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flashcards?
Yep. No, I have to show the card.